The latest family movie hits theaters with lots of song and dance.
And we learn the value of friendship with a giant crocodile. And everybody accepts it.
Sure. It's Lyle Crocodile on this episode of the Finding Good podcast with Kevin and Milton.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Finding Good podcast. My name is Kevin.
I'm Milton.
And if you haven't joined us before, first of all, welcome. We are two guys who just love movies.
Yeah.
We go see them together, which is always fun.
Yeah.
And then we come here and we talk about them. But we don't just want to review movies because we think anybody can do that. We want to sit down and really pull out the themes and just kind of deep talk a little bit about a few things that we get inspired by as we watch these movies. And so if you're with us for a while, thank you so much. Either way, please make sure you subscribe. Ring that bell, and that way you can get notified when we release new episodes. We're doing them every week, at least we're trying to.
Yeah.
Yep. So this week, Milton, we saw Lyle Crocodile.
That's right.
And a great new family film that is out, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good time. It was well animated, great cast.
Yeah.
Love Javier Bardem.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that.
Okay, yeah, don't. And of course, Shawn Mendes. I mean, if you like pop music, he's one of the best voices out there. He's the voice of the crocodile, the singing voice.
The singing voice.
Crocodile.
We'll talk about how he's not the voice, just the singing voice. We'll talk about that.
Right. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a kids movie. We're not kids, but we can appreciate, the fun.
I'm like, no.
No, you can't.
I agree with that.
So I like kids' movies. It reminds me of, raising my daughters and going to see these kinds of movies. And they're always fun. You know that it's a safe environment to take your kids.
Sure.
There's a lot of silliness, which I like silliness. There's a lot of fun, a lot of humor. So overall, yeah, I enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a big giant musical production though.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And so I was kind of surprised. And when they started, I immediately got Greatest Showman vibes. Right off.
There's a reason for that.
Because the composer, it was Benji and Justin. They did Dear Evan Hansen. Mm-hmm. They did La La Land.
Love La La Land. So good.
And Greatest Showman, which was great.
Also great.
I felt like they didn't write as many songs in that movie. It was one or two songs that they kept going back to over and over again. So that got a little repetitive.
Yeah, if I were to rank their musical chops, I'd definitely put this one a lot bit lower than the other stuff they've done.
Yeah.
But still enjoyable. I mean, you were tapping your foot.
Sure, I was smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I think Javier.
Bardem.
Javier? But
Javier.
I'm just going to the first name on that.
Javier. Try to say it like our people say it.
I'm not going to do that.
No? Okay.
Javier. I will say he is not as great as Hugh.
Oh, no.
But
Hugh Jackman? Wolverine?
Yeah, no.
I mean, come on. There's few better than Wolverine. Sorry.
True. But he did a great performance of song and dance. So I think we each kind of have a little beef about this movie.
Sure. I have a big beef, actually.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, mine was just that there's no origin story of Lyle. In this movie, this isn't a Lyle origin story of a singing crocodile, singing, dancing crocodile. He just exists, and everybody is okay with it. I mean, they're scared of it because he is a crocodile,
right?
And then they immediately accept it as reality. Yeah. And I just feel this is representative of the world we're growing up in right now.
Oh boy.
The world we're living in, where you can just be whoever you want to be, and everybody goes, yeah, sure, that works. Okay. It doesn't work. There's no such thing as singing crocodiles who walk on their hind legs and walk around downtown New York. But
and dance and dumpster dive.
Right, yeah.
And cook food. And,
right. I understand it's a kid's movie.
It's a kid's movie. You just got to be, and it's a book series from what I understand. So, sure. It's fine. Here's my beef, which I don't care what anybody says. The books can't fix this. Okay. Because you go to school, and you study anatomy, you study science,
yes.
You know how certain things work. Okay, if a person can sing, a person can talk.
Okay.
So why can't Lyle talk? He can only sing? No, I'm sorry. The same technology, the same anatomy, the same wind going over the windpipes that's making him able to sing these notes are the same ones that would make him say, hello, how are you? But no, he can't do that.
Well,
I mean, Lyle, come on.
He's not a person. He's a crocodile.
Sorry, if the crocodile can sing, the crocodile can talk. And this was giving me anxiety during the movie. Like, just say what you need, dude.
Because he
communicate.
He used nonverbal communication for everything until he
with the
started
movie.
singing. It's a big plot hole.
Yeah. No, it's a huge plot hole. Like black hole size plot hole, suck the whole universe into the plot hole. But anyway.
You're reminding me of a story. Maybe he can talk and he just communicates in song. And this happens with people sometimes too. And I know this because I've been around the Christian music industry for a while.
Okay.
And was able to, I'm going to totally name drop, and nobody's going to understand who I'm saying. So there was an artist in like the 90s and the 2000s. Her name was Jackie Velasquez.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, she was a big Christian artist.
Every teenage boy in a Christian youth group was in love with her at that time.
Yeah. We had a dinner party at her house.
What? You went to Jackie Velasquez's house?
Yeah, and it was just like a normal house. I mean, it was great. I mean, it wasn't like this mansion.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I swear she did not say a single word the entire night. She sang everything.
You're kidding me.
Jackie has one of the most beautiful voices.
She is a beautiful voice.
But she literally should open the door. Welcome to my home. And here's the meal. And it was, I'm not kidding you, it was the most creepiest, weird thing.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking. Hello, exactly. That's the problem. Do not sing when you're supposed to talk.
Look, if you have a voice like Shawn Mendes, maybe you don't have to talk.
Yeah,
maybe you just go around
Shawn
singing
Mendes.
everything. Or Jackie Velasquez.
Listen, I don't like this part of the movie.
So there it is. We really try to find, okay, what can we pull out of this to just kind of dive deep into. And this movie was really great at showing the power of what a good friend can do in your life.
Yeah.
Can show up and really encourage you to be someone else. And Lyle was a really good friend. And so I think we're just going to talk about friendship for a little bit.
Yeah, friendship is it's so huge in life. You need friends. I think it's an absolute necessary part of life. A person without friends is a person that's missing a huge tool in dealing with life. And but the problem is that friendship, just like dating, just like marriage, can get complicated, and it gets hard to do it well, to live in that space well, because people, man. People.
That's true. Do you have like a lifelong best friend?
Well, of course, my wife is my best friend. We've been together for 25 years. So that's good. When I was I've had phases of my life where I've always had like really close people, but then, moving around, it makes it hard to say. So I remember in elementary school, I had these two guys, they're both named John, and we were like the trio, right? Yeah. And then when I went to college, I had another guy. You're not gonna believe when I say this. My name's Milton. His name was Milton, Amilton.
His name was Milton?
Milton. So they would call him Milton. They would call me B Milton, which I didn't like. That's so
you got B.
Don't be.
I'm gonna start calling you B Milton.
B Milton, Kevin. Be me. Be more like me.
That should be a shirt. We're gonna start selling the Fine and Good podcast. B Milton.
The B Milton shirt. So then I had Milton was my best bud, and then that was during seminary, college times, and then now just at each church that I've been in, each ministry, there's been one person that I spend extra amount of time with. I feel comfortable sharing with. So yeah, there's always been somebody. You have somebody like that right now in your life?
Better make that list. I was sitting there waiting. I'm like, if he doesn't say my name in the next 30 seconds.
Well, you're the now person. You're the guy now.
That's fine.
I mean, you're the only non-wife person that I go to the movies with.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So
what an honor.
It is an honor, sir.
It is an honor. I have had, and it's a rarity, and I know it's a rarity. I've had my best friend that I've known since senior year of high school.
Wow.
And so his name is Ryan. Him and I we still go to coffee once a week, text each other all throughout the week, and it's just been awesome. And I know it's a rarity. We've moved. I've lived in Michigan. He's lived in Idaho. He's moved to Seattle. We've moved back. Obviously we've both gotten married and seen each other as kids, and we had a falling out and a falling back in. And he's just always been that right friend for me.
That's cool.
And I've also had some friends who I thought were right for me at the time, and they weren't. And then I've just had some bad friends. And so I think I've witnessed friendship over a couple decades, and just how rich and edifying it can be to your life, and how destructive and bad it can be for your life as well.
Yeah. What makes, I think, what challenges us in making friendships and living in the reality of friendships, and there's a reason why I put it that way, is expectations. My youngest daughter, she has the personality of, she just has a big imagination and big dreams and rose-colored glasses kind of approach to life, at least did, right? And that comes from me. I'm kind of that guy too. And she goes into every potential relationship thinking and painting these beautiful pictures of what it's gonna be, right? I remember when we moved from California to Massachusetts. For my oldest daughter, it was really rough because she was leaving behind lots of good friends. For my youngest daughter,
it's a big move.
Yeah, for my youngest daughter, it was, oh man, look at the adventure we're about to go into. And she just had this idea of what it was gonna be. And when we landed in Massachusetts and she started interacting with the people there, she quickly found out that her picture of what these friendships were gonna be did not become what they were supposed to be in her mind. So it was a huge letdown, right? And I think that media, movies that we talk about a lot, shows, all these things, they create these beautiful, perfect pictures of what relationships should be. And we kind of start believing them, and then we start judging and filtering every potential relationship through that. And when it doesn't become that, then we're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's not a good friendship anymore.
And so, what do you do in that situation?
My best advice, and I don't know how good of advice it is, but I try to tell people, and I try to do this for myself too, don't go into a situation with certain expectations. Just experience it for what it is, and then adjust, right? So don't go in like, this is gonna be the greatest job I've ever had, man. Just to be like, okay, let's go in and see what's up, you know? And then you're gonna find good things, you're gonna find bad things, you adjust to the bad things and try to make them better. You see the good things and you embrace those. Don't let other people paint a picture of what should be. Experience it for yourself. Oh, another way that this happens is like, say like in this situation, a new person comes into our team here at Project 88.7, right? And they meet me for the first time and they're like, hey, I'm gonna meet this guy, Kevin. What's he like, right? Yep. What do you think of him? I try not to answer that question.
Ever,
if I can. You know, I just say like, you know, go meet him. Like make your own judgment about who he is. Because all I'm gonna tell you about Kevin is like,
super
we go
awesome.
To the movies.
He's really funny.
You know, he's got to work on his hair a little bit, but other than that, it's all good, you know?
That's right.
And they're gonna go in with that picture of you, instead of just like, let me just go in and just see who this dude is.
I think that's good. On the flip side of that though, you can also become really jaded.
Oh yeah.
And so where this person is gonna be the worst, and I'm gonna hate everything, and I'm not gonna like anything. And so I think whatever glasses you put on is how you're going to experience that situation. And I think what you're saying is put on some neutral glasses.
Yeah.
And learn your environment as you go. And I mean, friendship takes work.
Oh man.
I mean, excuse me. I mean, we saw, even in the life of Jesus, if we look at Jesus, and he had lots of friends. This was a guy who knew everybody.
Yeah.
Or everybody wanted to know him, you know, and He had 12 disciples. Of those 12 disciples, three were kind of his best friends who he did really close life with. And I hear all the time, really you'll only have 3 to 5 really good, deep friendships in your life. It's just, you can't maintain the level of friendship with people that you need to really get at a deep personal level with people. And so I think that expectation is good because A, you won't get let down, or B, you won't go in thinking things are going to be horrible, you're going to get hurt. You can't have either of those perspectives going in.
And if what you're saying is right, which I believe it is, which, you know, there's a limited amount, you have a limited amount of capacity and resources to really dive deep with certain people. So you're only going to get 3 to 5, let's say. So to me, that means that if you're only going to get that many, you got to choose well who's going to be in that inner circle that you have. So the choices, who is it going to be, and what are you looking for in that kind of a person so that they can be in that inner circle? So when you're choosing somebody to be in that inner circle, what are you looking for in that person?
Well, I never had this advice growing up. I was just kind of left on my own to find out who you hang out with, and the results were mixed to poor. They weren't great because my wife and I tell our kids this all the time. Like, this is one of the most important decisions that you can make as a young person. Is to, you know, if you're in school, even college, this is where you're going and spending the majority of your life and your day at. Choose your friends wisely. And it sounds like it sounds like parental wisdom, and that's so dumb, and that's one more thing I'm going to ignore. No, that really is the most important part of your life, because your friends dictate your environment. That you go with them to places, and they lead you directions, and they can influence your choices. And if that's poor, your life is just going to be a mess. Your life's going to be a mess. I grew up with okay people, but I dealt with a lot of bullying. I had maybe a group of 6 to 8 friends throughout junior high and high school, and they were all different religion than me, and so I was not part of the club right off the bat. There was already that separation, and then I was very quiet. I didn't stand up for myself a lot, so I just got picked on. And it was the worst. Like, it became the worst. Junior high and high school, I absolutely hated going to school. And I grew up where I didn't have any adults saying, hey, how are you doing? You know, it was just, I just got to deal with this life. It was horrible. Like, it was really, really sad.
Why did you pick those friends? Out of all the people you could have chosen, you chose this group that
because they paid attention to me. And I didn't have the wisdom to understand good attention and bad attention. They just noticed me. Right? And I think that's really at the core of all what you want in friendship. You want someone to do life with. You want to be seen. You want to be welcomed. You want to be part of the environment. And so instead of finding that in a healthy spot, I found that in very destructive places.
When I seek a friend, I really want somebody who is going to bring out the best in me, you know, challenge me, but still at the same time respect who I am to my core, right? To look at me and say, like, I want to be in this relationship with you just as you are. But at the same time, that person is maybe inspiring me to be more than who I am. I know that I get that a lot with my wife and our friendship, but I want other people around me to do that as well. And I feel like I've gotten that here a lot. You know, we do have coworkers, but I have friendships with them as well, and they just make me want to learn more and do more, and like, oh shoot, I can become an even greater Milton, you know, if I learn what they know.
A Milton.
You know what?
We don't need to settle for B. You could become A Milton.
I think the word trigger right now should be popping up on the screen.
Not a good friend.
I am
not being a good friend.
No, you're not being a good friend. But
you're looking. I mean, that's a good gut check. Are the people that I'm surrounding myself with, are they encouraging me to be better?
Yeah.
Or are they dysfunctional and I'm chasing them?
Yeah.
I think that's what I loved about Lyle. That's what I loved about this movie, and that was really core of throughout this movie. Lyle came into all these characters' lives and encouraged them and made them become better.
Yeah.
You saw the kid who we don't know what his name is, whatever, the kid actor.
Oswald, I think.
Yeah, right. He was dealing with loneliness,
Yeah.
and he was able to be seen. And
Right.
the mom was dealing with perfectionism and trying to eat healthy all the time. And by the end, she was going crazy and eating a pizza. Nuts.
Love that. Love pizza.
Yeah, what a good friend.
Yeah. If a crocodile comes into my life and I get to eat more pizza, fine.
That's good.
Then
Yeah.
the crocodile doesn't have to talk. It's fine.
The dad was a workaholic and just so serious and just loosened him up. And so
Yeah.
I think that's a good gut check, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Are they helping you be a better you?
Yeah. And also helping you be who you are. In other words, you're not trying to pretend because you're around this person. I remember talking about the Johns. I remember it was kind of like a field day kind of thing, or I think they called it track and field day at my school. So there was no classes that day, and everyone competed in these different track and field stuff. So I'm slow. I can't run fast for anything, right? And of course, it was obvious that the relay race was going to be the two Johns and Milton, right? Because we're the trio,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
We're the friends. Well, Sean comes to me
Okay.
and he says, "Do you want to be on my relay race team?"
Ooh.
Sean was the fastest kid at the school.
Wow.
Fastest kid at the school. This was 7th grade, I believe, 7th or 8th grade. Now, as a good friend, I should have stayed with John and John,
Sure.
but I had a chance to win, man.
Ooh.
I had a chance to win, and I went to Sean's team.
Bailed the Johns.
I bailed on the Johns, man.
Yeah.
And I still to this day, I'm over 50 years old. To this day, I still can't believe I made that decision, and I'm ashamed of myself. Like, I left my buddies behind, and because I just wanted to be with the cool kid, and I felt cool at the moment, and nah, man, I was a bad friend at that moment.
Did you win?
I don't even remember if we won. I don't know.
Isn't that great? Like, isn't that a great part of life, though? Is that the things you chase after and think are important really have no value. I mean, it's worthless. What you remember is how you made people feel and how people made you feel. That is what sticks.
Yeah.
Good reminder.
And the great thing is that my friends, John and John, sure, they were hurt, but in the end, when the field day was over, we were buds again.
That's
and they
cool.
were just like, hey, yeah, we're still doing our thing. We're still doing the sleepovers. We're still dressing up like Indiana Jones. We're still doing the thing. We did do that.
Have a picture of you dressed up as Indiana Jones.
But that happens in friendship.
Yes.
Right. Friendship, again, it's coming into a relationship with a realistic perspective, which is we love each other. We want to hang out together. We want to be with each other, but there's probably going to be a moment where one of us is going to get on the other one's nerve, is going to say something we weren't supposed to say or do something we shouldn't have done, and now the relationship is damaged. And in friendship, that sometimes is hard to come back from, and I've seen lots of people completely abandon their relationships, their friendships at the first sign of problems.
Wow. Because it hurts.
Yeah.
I don't like pain. I hate pain. We've talked about that a lot on the podcast, but just how I have really become aware of how much I run from pain and uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
I think you just need to have forgiveness and grace in a friendship. But how much do we need? How much more do those need around us?
Yeah.
That has to be part of a good friendship.
Yeah. Think about Lyle's story. I mean, the one person that saved him from the cage, that was going to make him a star and everything, wound up selling him to the zoo to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, the ultimate betrayal, right? Spoiler alert, by the way. And if you were going to go see this movie about a singing crocodile that doesn't talk, still bothers me. But yeah, and friends can really, really hurt hurt you.
Yeah.
Sometimes even more than family, because family is just, it's sometimes you take it for granted, right?
Yeah.
But friends, you like choose your friends, and you've been through the best and the worst with each other, and you've shared intimate moments with each other, and then all of a sudden this person just stabs you in the back, whether it's intentional or not. That is painful.
So, quick question. I want your hot take on this.
Okay.
So there was a moment in the movie where Lyle, he's been abandoned by his friend, and his friend comes back into life after years of being gone, and just immediately starts saying, "Hey, let's perform. Like, let's go." And Lyle's on the stairs, and he's all, doing his non-verbal communication that he's
It's always nonverbal. Hello, he doesn't talk. The alligator sings but doesn't talk. Well, it's a crocodile.
Javier starts snapping, do his little song and dance, and almost immediately Lyle starts shaking his shoulders, and he looks over and he's like, "Okay, I'm back in it." And they go, "Did that annoy you at all?"
It always annoys me because. And this isn't good, by the way. It always annoys me because I'm that kind of person, like, you hurt me.
Yes.
Like,
Right.
like I know I'm supposed to forgive.
Right.
I guess my mode is to be much more careful and much more guarded, which doesn't lead to a more intimate friendship. That's the problem.
It's true.
And I guess I should take more risks, but my heart is hurt.
Yeah.
And I want to protect it, right? I don't know. It's hard.
I know it's a kids movie and they had to move the story along, but I was just like, no, Lyle, like protect yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you've been hurt and treated poorly. Don't just all snap right into it. Like, come on. I wanted a little bit more angst and realism there. But I did. I felt a little bad for Lyle, like he was being used and didn't know it yet.
Yeah. But there's the great question, right? When do you, her friend has hurt you, when do you take the position of, okay, it's good, let's reinvest in the friendship, and when do you say, like, enough is enough, this friendship is over, sorry, go your own way, I'll go my own way? Or are you even supposed to do that? Is that allowed?
I think the win is when your friend sells you to the zoo and you get locked in jail. That's probably a good line.
Yeah, when you're behind bars, the friendship might be over.
And Lyle still stood up for him.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe.
But that's because the kid told him to.
Yeah, that's true.
The kid told him to forgive him, and he did.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That to me is a hard one. When do you stop? When do you say, okay, I'll allow myself to potentially be the doormat again?
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to do that anymore, and you're gone.
Well, I can personally relate to this because to my best friend Ryan, who, the reason why we're still friends today is because of him.
Okay.
We went through a 5-year period where my wife and I transitioned away from church. He was very hurt. I did it very poorly. It became very contentious, and he bowed out while I continued to just chip at him and chew at him and just kind of poorly engage. That's the basic rundown. He had every reason to just go, Kevin's a jerk. He has thrown away our relationship and our friendship and just has totally trashed it. I don't want anything to do with this guy. Instead, he stepped back.
Okay.
He let me rant and roll until there was nothing there. I wasn't getting any feedback back. I stepped away. Fast forward 4 years. It was 4 years where we weren't talking. And it took that long for God to really soften my heart in that area and to go back to him and go, dude, I miss us hanging out and doing life together. And I was absolutely wrong, and I'm sorry. And if I look at this from Brian's perspective, he did the right thing. You were hurting me, you were not hearing me, you were not caring for me. You were only out for you. It's now time to step back. But he didn't step away. To his credit, he just said, I'm here if you change, but if you're not going to change who you are, I'm not going to keep this poison in my life.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, yeah.
So I think what you're saying is, like, you can say, like, this isn't working for me anymore, but still be open to the possibility that in some future date, when things improve or the situation gets tenable, I guess, I don't know, then you can re-engage again and you can spark up that friendship. I think that's wise. I think that's wise to give some space, especially when things are really challenging, and to give time to reflect. You know, I'm a man of prayer. I believe in prayer. So if that ever happened, I think what I would do is I'd say like, okay, this isn't working. I'm going to pray about this situation, and I'm going to let God lead both of us. And hopefully at some point this can re-engage. I like that. I like that. That your story gives me hope for some relationships in my life that I do hope can get worked out in some way. And maybe it just needs time.
Yeah. Time and patience. Not everything is over. You just think about the journey we're all on. Everybody can change and become better, but that might not be your responsibility here and now to change that person. So wait for him.
Yeah. Now there are some people, I'm just going to be honest with you. There are some people that
you're not going to wait for.
No, I don't even want to wait. Well, you mentioned bullying. You mentioned bullying.
Right. Well, yeah.
And my daughter had a group of friends that started as friends and wound up being her oppressors. And they bullied her. They hurt her. They damaged her heart. And those are some people that even if they came back into her life apologetic, sorry, I would just be like,
not gonna happen.
Not with me.
Right. Yeah.
Not with me. And that's probably an issue I have. You know, there was that one song in the movie Carried Away.
Okay.
Carried Away, which Lyle sings when he's in the zoo. And it's his complaint about how I thought this was going to be great, and it wound up being awful. And I just got carried away with the emotions of what it was at one point when it was good, and now what it's become, which is awful. And you got carried away, and I got carried away, and I think that happened to my daughter, and it really hurt her.
Yeah.
And I blame those girls. I'll say it. I'll say their names. No, I'm not gonna do it. But
it's gonna get really real.
Yeah. No, but
in all seriousness,
it's hard.
When someone hurts you at that level, there's nothing that says you have to allow them back into your life. But I do feel you have to find forgiveness to be able to move on, and that's tough. I still think about the kids 25 years ago that bullied me. 25, 30 years ago that bullied me. And I have that same feeling. If you showed up in front of me, it'd be hard to just smile at you and shake your hand. And I've got to find a way to just let that go. But you don't have to let them back in. No, I don't think that's required.
No. If you ask me today, it's a big no. I mean, a huge no.
It's protecting yourself, which I think is wise. And that's going back to the original, what we started. Choose your friends wisely. Why would you choose someone to be friends with who have wronged you at some level? Choose someone else.
Yeah, I think you're painting it beautifully and poetically. To me, it's honestly, I'm just gonna be straight. For me, it's not protecting me.
Okay.
Because they did hurt me because they hurt my daughter.
Well, yeah.
So,
okay. Yes.
So for me, it's dealing with rage.
Okay. Well,
rage and anger, honestly. And I wouldn't be violent or anything, but I could be snarky. I can have some choice words.
You're definitely approaching it as like a dad protecting someone else, or even a friend. Like if someone treated Ryan really poorly, I'd go to bat for Ryan.
Sure.
You know, I'd be like, dude, why are you letting this person back in your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you know why it hurt me the most is because the effect I saw it have on my daughter. She was alone. She had this beautiful group of people, and she was in the midst of those people, and it was going good. And then all of a sudden, without any warning, she was the singled out person. And I never want to see my daughter like that. Yeah. Because I want her to have community. I want her to have people in her life. I want her to feel love beyond her parents, right? You know, your parents' love, it's always there, supposedly, right? Yeah. but it's not enough.
Right.
Right. And you experience even the love of God through other people. And she wasn't getting any of that. And that's why bullying to me is one of the worst things that our society has ever invented. And it's just hurting so many people. It's really destroying friendship. It's not creating it.
No. Yeah. And it's good to speak against it and be aware of it and not allow it into your friendships in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Run. I wish I had an adult telling me, dude, run. These people are not good for you. So if maybe you're in that, maybe this is making you think about your friendships. I sure hope so. I sure hope you're sitting there just kind of going, oh, what's my circle look like right now? And is it good? Do a little gut check. And,
you know who you have to kick out of your life. Go ahead and do that. That's what we're encouraging you to do today.
Not us, though. We're your friends. Hopefully you don't kick us out.
Please.
Yeah, and keep watching. So that's our episode for Lyle Crocodile on the Finding Good podcast. Thanks for joining us. We got a lot more great content. Make sure you don't miss an episode. Ring the bell and subscribe. That way you can hear when we have new stuff coming. Have a good one.